In this video, we'll take a closer look at the Pulze Control, what it does, how to set it up, and how it performs in action. In the next few minutes, we'll explore some essential things you can do with it alongside the Ampero 2 stage, and we'll also discuss what's great about this controller and what might not be so great. If you're looking for a way to expand your control and creativity, you'll definitely want to stick around. Let's dive in and check the overall design. The Pulze Control runs on a built-in rechargeable battery that lasts around 12 hours and charges via duct USB-C. You get two fully assignable foot switches, each capable of sending different MIDI messages in modes like single, toggle, momentary, or hold, all configured through the Pulze Control app. The unit weighs only about 215 grams and measures roughly 102 millimeters across, making it super easy to carry anywhere. LED indicators show whether you're connected to the app or another device, and if you need more options, you can hook up an expression pedal or external foot switch via a 1/4-inch TRS jack. You can also go fully wired with USB to a computer or TRS to MIDI cables. Foot switch toppers included. The Pulze Control app is a mobile application designed to configure and manage the Pulze Control wireless MIDI controller. It allows users to connect via Bluetooth, select from ready-made simple modes, or dive into Pro mode for advanced MIDI customization. Within the app, you can assign MIDI messages, PC, CC, note on off, define foot switch behavior, and configure the control/MIDI jack for external pedals or foot switches. The app also enables wireless connection to target MIDI devices, firmware updates, expression pedal calibration, and full access to global settings like device renaming and factory reset. To install the application, visit Hotone's website and download the file. Since the app is not available on Google Play, you'll need to get it directly from the website. Before launching the app, make sure you've activated the Pulze Control by pressing and holding the power button. A blue light will flash, indicating that your device is in pairing mode. Launch the app. You can skip the registration screen. Select the Pulze Control from the list and click Connect. The button configuration screen will open. In this video, we'll focus on the actions that can be assigned to buttons A and B and will not talk about the external pedals. To connect the Ampero 2 stage, we first need to enable its Bluetooth. Once that's done, open the app and tap Connect to the control target. Select the Ampero 2 stage from the list and tap Connect to the control target. The two devices are now connected. Next, we'll review the pre-configured settings, and then move on to creating our own custom setups using Pro mode. Let's tap the menu. Here you can choose a preset mode for foot switches A and B. You'll notice that other devices appear in the list too. But for the Ampero 2 stage, we have 3 ready-made modes to choose from, plus the powerful Pro mode, which we'll dive into next. If we go with preset number 1 on the Ampero 2, you'll notice it's already set up to control patches. Tapping foot switch A moves you to the previous patch, and foot switch B takes you to the next one. Preset number 2 offers a different control setup. Foot switch A is now toggles between patch mode and stomp mode, while foot switch B is assigned to the expression pedal. Preset number 3 offers a different control setup. Foot switch A is now toggles between drum on and off, while foot switch B is now toggles between looper menu on and off. And now we get to the most interesting and flexible part, programming MIDI commands in Pro mode. Select Pro mode from the list, and let's move on to the screen where all the magic happens. Before we dive into custom configurations, for those who don't know, MIDI commands are predefined messages that the manufacturer has programmed into the device. These commands can control specific aspects of the unit based on what you want to do. To explore all the available Pulze Control MIDI codes, make sure to download the MIDI control information list either from the link I've added to this video or directly from the company's website. This will allow you to control various functions based on your needs. The first example will focus on how to switch between specific scenes. For instance, let's say we're currently in patch A01-1, and we want to switch between scene 1 and scene 3. We can assign foot switch A to scene 1 and foot switch B to scene 3. You might be wondering why this would even be useful, since the Ampero 2 stage already has its own foot switches for that. The answer is, it can be very handy for users who keep their Ampero 2 stage on a desk and prefer not to place it on the floor. In that case, the Pulze Control can sit on the floor instead and act as the foot controller. To program these commands, we first need to open the information file and check which MIDI command controls the scenes. We can see that it's CC command number 25. And in addition, we need to choose the specific scene we want to switch to. All we need to do is assign foot switch A to scene 1 and assign foot switch B to scene 3. That way, we can easily switch between them whenever we want. Go ahead and open the app and make sure you're in single mode. Now tap the little plus icon to add a new row. And then hit the arrow to open up the settings. Make sure the command type is set to CC. Change the number from 27 to 25. And instead of 0, type in 1. Once you're done, don't forget to hit Save up in the top right corner. Now switch over to foot switch B in the app. Set it up the same way as before, but this time, enter the number 3 instead. And once again, make sure to tap Save. Now let's test the results and make sure everything is working as expected. Press the foot switches to test. It's important to understand that these settings will apply to every patch. So if you switch to a different patch that has scenes, the pulse control will still toggle between scene 1 and scene 3 within that patch. Which brings us to the next question. How can we program the pulse control to jump to a specific patch? What we want is for each foot switch to take us directly to a patch we choose. This part gets a bit more complex, and we'll need a deeper explanation. To make each foot switch jump to the correct patch, we'll need to assign 2 commands to each one. Let's start by understanding what those commands are. We'll look at 2 examples and break down the MIDI code accordingly. If you've noticed, the banks are divided into groups of 3, which means we need to use different commands depending on which bank number we want to access. Example 1. We want foot switch A to always take us to A01-1, and foot switch B to take us to A12-1. Let's take a look at how to set that up. A01-1 is part of the first group. But take note, the first bank is actually bank 0, not bank 1. That's an important detail that'll help us later on. Also remember, we jump between banks in multiples of 5 because each bank contains 5 patches. This becomes important for the calculations we'll need to make in order to reach the correct patch within the correct bank. The CC command tells the device which bank group we want to access, based on the division shown in the table. We also need to define a PC command, which determines the specific patch number we want to jump to. Let's go back to the app and set up foot switch A. Since our bank is the first one, we'll enter 0. For the PC command, we'll also enter 0, because it's the first patch in the bank. Don't worry, things will become much clearer once we set up foot switch B. Now let's go back to the table and figure out what we need to do in order to reach bank A12-1. That means bank number 12, patch 1. We can see that bank 12 is still part of CC0. So how do we calculate its PC command? If you remember, we said that each bank contains 5 patches. And we also mentioned that we start counting from bank 0. So, bank 0 has 5 patches. Bank 1 has 5 patches, and so on, all the way up to bank 12. That means A12-1 is patch 55. Now let's go back to the app and set up foot switch B based on what we've just learned. Now let's test if our settings worked. Remember, our goal is to switch between completely different banks and lock each foot switch to a specific, fixed patch. Now let's move on to example 2. This time, we want to reach A29-4. Notice that this patch belongs to a different category, CC1. So we begin counting from P26-4, which is considered the first preset in this group, meaning it equals 0. That means A29-4 is preset number 15 in this category. Let me remind you again, the system is divided into 3 separate CC groups: CC0, CC1, and CC2. Each group starts its preset count from 0. Let's go back to the app and set it up. Let's check if our settings worked. Similarly, you can assign other functions like starting the looper, turning effects on and off, and more. Now let's talk about the pros and cons of the Pulse Control device. Let's start with the pros of the device. Ultra-compact design. Full flexibility to match your workflow. Supports external foot switches and expression pedals. User-friendly mobile app. Can work via cable or Bluetooth. Durable and made from strong, high-quality materials. Now let's move on to the cons. There is noticeable delay when using Bluetooth at a certain distance. To use the device with a cable, you'll need to purchase a dedicated MIDI cable and adapters, which increases the overall cost of using the pedal. Limited Android support. The app is not available on Google Play and must be downloaded as an APK from Hotone's official website, which may be inconvenient for some users. No preset saving within the app. All programming is stored directly on the device only. If you liked the video and want to see more, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss a thing.